The Muslim Paksh challenging the Hindus' plea to worship at the Gyanvapi Parisar. Two petitions were against the maintainability of a 1991 civil suit filed by the Hindu worshippers, and three pleas were against the ASI survey order. The Allahabad High Court ruled that the Gyanvapi civil suits were not barred by the Places of Worship Act 1991 and said that the Gyanvapi compound can either have a Muslim character or a Hindu character, and directed the trial court to expeditiously decide the suit within 6 months. Let's try and decode this order further. And let's try and find out why the court said that the Places of Worship Act is actually not a hurdle. So Gyanvapi is not chained by the Places of Worship Act. Why? The Act clearly defines conversion and place of worship. Religious character has not been defined under the Act. Religious could only be decided by facts. Place cannot have dual religious character at the same time. Gyanvapi compound has either a Hindu character or a Muslim one. Adjudication is required to arrive at the finding of the actual original religious character of this place. No conclusion can be reached on the basis of framing preliminary issue of law. Relief sought by the plaintiffs is not of converting any place of worship. Declaration has been sought as to the religious character. The High Court order is a big win, ladies and gentlemen, for the Hindu Paksh and the right to pray for Hindus of the country to their Ishtadev or deity. Let's take a look at this key takeaways from this verdict. What it does is it boosts the legal fight of the Hindu Paksh in claiming the seat of Baba Adi Vishweshwar or Kashi Vishwanath. Trial to proceed on the 1991 suit filed by the Hindu Paksh. Places of Worship Act is not a hurdle in the case has been said. The Muslim Paksh's contention has been totally rejected, and the trial on the Hindus' right to pray to be completed in 6 months by the Varanasi court is what's been said. The verdict will impact disputes in other places of worship too. More importantly, the question or the aspect that remains is, one place cannot have two religious characters. It can either be this or that. It cannot be both. And to determine this, it has to be done in a scientific manner, and the original religious character has to be established. So Gyanvapi not chained by the Places of Worship Act is the first question that we ask tonight.
Hello, Moto.
Harishankar Jain ji, lawyer from the Hindu Paksh with us, Ishkaran Bhandari, senior lawyer with us, Anand Ranganathan, author, political commentator with us, Ahmed Ayaz, political analyst, and Mazhar Sharif, AIMIM leader with us. Namaste, Jai Hind to all the panelists. Thank you very much for joining us this evening on The Right Stand. Harishankar Jain ji, this 1991 suit, there is a connection to you directly, so let me ask you, how do you see the verdict of the Allahabad High Court?
Yes. I welcome the verdict, and is very correct and according to law. In the verdict, it is specifically stated that it can't have two characters, either the Hindu temple or a mosque. And the havoc created by Muslims, place of worship and havoc, that has come to an end. Unnecessary Muslims and some media persons, they were propagating the place of worship as a bar. Whereas place of worship is not a bar. Actually, place of worship is a religious character. And what is the religious character of a particular property, that can be decided only on the basis of evidence. Number one. Number two, once you say it is a mosque, you have to prove that it was a waqf. Waqf was created. Without establishing that it was a waqf and it was created, waqf was created, you can't have a mosque. There can be no mosque, then there is no waqf. And when waqf is there, you will have to prove that the property belongs to Waqif, that the person who dedicated the property to Almighty. Here, nothing. There is nothing like that. It is proved in evidence. They will have ample opportunity to prove their case, and I think that main hurdle, the suit cannot be tried. It is vanished now, and the core question will remain as to whether the present structure was constructed after demolishing a Hindu temple? That is the core question, and that has to be decided by the court. Suppose it is found that the Hindu temple was demolished, then there can be no mosque. We can't presume any mosque at the place which belongs to the deity. Over deity property, no Allah can be there. Simple, in simple words. Either is the deity or Allah, but can't be both. So once it is prior in time, the test will be who was prior in time. If Hindu temple was prior in time and was demolished, then it will not assume the character of any mosque, so-called mosque, and the present structure that was raised after Aurangzeb Farman in 1669. And lastly, the temple had been constructed by Narayan Bhatt sometimes in 1680-85. There is a ample evidence to that effect. And I may tell you one thing more. The Honorable Supreme Court in 1997, 4 SCC page 606, Justice Ramaswamy has given a history and he has held that this construction was raised after demolishing Hindu temple. So we have to prove it. And once it is proved that temple was demolished, the Muslims will have no case, and the court has paved the way for hearing. They wanted that it should be rejected at threshold. That is gone. That is not there.
So one of the aspects of Harishankar Jain was that about the Places of Worship Act applicable or not. The other aspect was on maintainability. Now, what has the court said as far as the maintainability of the entire suit by the Hindu side is concerned? 711 was being invoked.
Their main plea is 711 that his suit is barred by Place of Worship Act. Court has ruled that is not barred by Place of Worship Act. It has to be tried, and religious character has to be determined by the court. There is a very categorical finding.
So now how will that be done? But does that mean again it leans on the ASI report? Does that mean it the 1000-page docket that has been submitted on another matter, does that get related to this?
That is related to this, and that report will be read in this case also, and all the Hindu Paks, in all the cases, that report will be considered. And that report is one of the aspects, and we will prove that report as well as our case by oral and documentary evidence. The time will come. Let the time will come. And
but the Muslim Paksha is arguing that report should be kept confidential. It should be kept sealed. Now, does today's Allahabad High Court verdict then add muscle to the 21st hearing where you are going to argue that it should be made public?
Yes. ASI has acted against the order of the Honorable Supreme Court. Supreme Court has never said, in his order dated 4th August, he said this, file the report. File the report. And on the contrary, there was a proposal by the Muslim side that it should be kept secret. It should be in sealed cover. Court said no, rejected that aspect and said on 4th August in its hearing, court rejected that plea and said let the report be filed, you will file objection, or any party which agreed may file objection. And Order 26, Rule 9 and 10 also say, lays down that any party agreed with the report may file objection. It is possible only when a report is given. Number 2, in the latest judgment today, the Honorable High Court has said that report will be read in this case also. So certainly it can't be kept in sealed cover. It can't remain intact. It has to be opened and has to be given copies to the parties, to all the stakeholders.
Harishankar Jain, please have a sip of water. Please have a sip of water. I know I'm pushing you with a lot of questions. I'll come back to you, sir. Let me just also bring in some of our other panelists. He's been somebody who's been fighting this for a long time. For nearly about 4 decades, ladies and gentlemen, he has been fighting, and that fight has been carried on by his son, Vishnu Jain. So last evening, Vishnu Jain was with us. Today, Harishankar Jain ji is with us. Let's open this up and we'll go back to Harishankar Jain ji in just a bit. Ahmed Ayaz, how would you respond and how would you look at the court judgment today? You also understand law. So the court has turned around and said that the matter should be legally settled. The religious character must be determined because it's unclear. It cannot be of dual nature.
See, Mr. Anand, it needs to be understood that there is always a purpose to enact a law. Why has the Religious Places Act been enacted? It was only after it was seen that this is likely to open Pandora boxes and will engage the country into all these temple and mosque issues always, as there must have been changes in the past during 300, 400, 500 years back. Maybe we can't say there must not have been changes. Looking at that aspect, yes, we need to put end to it and bring in Religious Places Act as it and hold it as it existed in 1947. Why was it brought in? It was brought in only to see that it does not crop up in future, and making any bypass of it or ignoring the Religious Places Act for whatever reason will definitely lead to a chaos in future, will open Pandora box today. And it is said that 300 back during Aurangzeb's time there was a temple at Mathura, and the Shahi Eidgah place has been mandir was demolished and a mosque is built up. And tomorrow Muslims can come up somewhere else. And also this is not understood why this only happening in mostly in the UP area, when there are Muslims in majority in good percentage, more percentage in other states of the country. Why is it happening only in UP? It does not happen in Maharashtra, it does not happen in Bengal, West Bengal, it does not happen in Assam, it does not happen in Jammu and Kashmir. Why is it happening only in,
Sir,
I mean, see,
sir,
this
the
is,
point is,
this
sir,
is
the
to me,
places-
this is nothing
there
but
are
to
multiple
bring back.
Okay,
No,
please
then my
complete.
point
Please,
is, it
ji.
is only to gain a political mileage out of it. Otherwise, there is no point in reopening issues which stand already settled by virtue of the act passed by the Parliament, passed by the government, whoever government was there. It does not mean today there is a government and after 20 years will change the decisions whatever this government has taken. Does it mean that the country has to engage only in these matters?
Okay.
No, to me, my mind, no. We should give rest to this all and respect the Religious Places Act, give rest to all these issues,
But
go
but
further,
today,
move
Ahmadaya
further,
Sahab,
move ahead and go
Ahmadaya
for
Sahab,
the development.
there are 3-4 points. Harishankar Jainji wanted to counter you to say that this has happened in other states. He put his hand up. So allow me to just go back to Harishankar Jainji, and then we'll also come back to some of the other points that you raised. But Harishankar Jainji, yes, you are saying it's not just in UP; it has happened in other states also.
Yes, in Qutub Minar, I have filed petition in the Saket court that Qutub Minar was constructed after demolishing 27 Hindu and Jain temples. That petition is pending for additional decision Saket court. Number 2, in Bhojshala, Indore High Court, I have filed a petition that there is no Kamal Maula mosque. It is a temple of Ma Saraswati, Vagdevi, Adhar, and which was demolished, which was captured by Muslims, saying the Kamal Maula mosque at Indore. On 11th May 2022, the Honorable Indore High Court has admitted the petition. If wrongly said, and I am going to file more than 10 petitions just within few days all over the country, in different parts of the country, including Rajasthan, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, etc.
So,
many places.
there are many places
Within
that so it's not limited. The other aspect, as I go across to Ishkaran Bhandari, Mazhar Sharif and Dr. Anand Ranganathan first half, sir, Ram Janmabhoomi is in Uttar Pradesh. At that time there was no Uttar Pradesh, but Ram Janmabhoomi is only one. There's only one place where Ram Lala was born. The birthplace is only one place. You can't be born in 10 different places. Krishna Janmabhoomi is only in one place, and Krishna was born in what is Mathura today, so there can be only one Krishna Janmabhoomi. The same way, Kashi dates back to 10,000 years. In the Rig Veda, there is a mention of Kashi. So Adi Vishweshwar can be seated only
Yes.
in one place. He cannot be in 10 different places. There can be 10 different Shiva temples, but there is only one Kashi and there is only one Adi Vishweshwar, and that place is called Gyanvapi. Sir, the word Gyanvapi itself means that there is a well of where around which there is knowledge, well of knowledge.
Yes.
Now Gyanvapi itself is a Sanskrit Hindu name, sir. It comes from our scriptures. It's got nothing to do with Islam. So the moment a place is called a Gyanvapi Mosque, that name itself should signal that kuch to gadbad hai yahan par. The other part, sir, the suit will be filed for where the deity is, not where the state is. So it's not state specific, Ahmad Ayaz Sahab. And more importantly, the Allahabad High Court has said the Places of Worship Act 1991 does not apply to Gyanvapi, sir. So that's what the court has said. Most important fact, it does not apply to Gyanvapi Parisar. That is what is important. Nobody is disrespecting the Places of the Worship Act. The court is saying, and Hari Shankar Jain ji filed this plea even before the BJP was anywhere in power. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Good evening, Anand. First up, till very recently, I used to think that, our Kul Devi, Mannapulli Kavu Bhagwati was the embodiment of the glorious Hindu civilization. I might have changed my mind. I pay my humble respect to Hari Jain ji and his son Vishnu Jain. I think they are the living embodiments of our Hindu civilization, and if it survives, if our civilization survives, it would be no small measure because of the father and the son. So thank you so much, Hari Jain ji and Vishnu Jain, who's not there, for doing what you are doing. Is just simply phenomenal. This nation owes a huge debt to both of you. As far as the topic itself is concerned, let me be very direct out here, because I think enough water has flown down the Ganges. Anand, washing your dirty feet at the most sacred of places for Hindus does not change Gyanvapi's religious character. It just exposes your character. If the holiest shrine of some other religion was demolished and people of another faith stomped their dirty feet on the sacred relics as they walked inside the place of worship and washed their dirty feet, this country would have witnessed a civil war. But Hindus have been conditioned to take humiliation, to suffer airbrushing of their history. Anand, remember this. You can airbrush history, but you can't airbrush a civilization. Aurangzeb tried to, but our ancestors foiled his plan. It is beyond any doubt, in fact, written in the most authentic biography of Aurangzeb, Masjid-e-Alamgiri, that in 1669, on orders of Aurangzeb, the Kashi Vishwanath temple was demolished. The Farman is also archived in Bikaner archives. And here is Sir Jadunath Sarkar's translation of Masjid-e-Alamgiri, page 52, quote, Aurangzeb, eager to establish Islam, issued orders to the governors of all the provinces to demolish the schools and temples of the infidels, and with the utmost urgency put down the teachings and the public practice of the religion of these misbelievers, unquote. And yet, there are those who deny the Hindus their legitimate right to correct historical injustice. What else is civilization, I ask you? And principal among them are our legislature and the judiciary. To me, one of the most barbaric legislations ever enacted in India, Anand, is the 1991 Place of Worship Act. But in 2019, the virtue signaling Supreme Court in its Ayodhya judgment willfully ratified the act that obligates maintaining all religious places as they were on August 15, 1947. A legal recourse to correct historical injustice cannot be denied in a democracy, but it is. The Supreme Court said that the Places of Worship Act speaks to our history and to the future of the nation. Wrong. This law airbrushes our history and destroys our future. Now let me expose the victimhood peddling charlatans completely. Anand, I'll take a minute. I welcome the court judgment that says the Place of Worship Act does not bar the maintainability of the Hindu case to reclaim Gyanvapi. This had to happen. One, as the Hindus have been worshipping Ma Shringar Gauri inside the so-called Gyanvapi Mosque almost every day before 1993 and once a year after 1993 when the government prohibited them. Religious character of the Gyanvapi structure is therefore always been Hindu. But there is more. Number two, a little distance away from Ma Gauri is the wuzu, where Muslims have been washing their dirty feet. In this wuzu was discovered the Shivling that Muslims claim is a fountain. Number three, a little distance away is the Vyas Parivar Tehkana. The Vyas Parivar was worshipping in that cellar till November 1993, when, ironically, in grave violation of Section 3 of the Place of Worship Act itself, the Mulayam Singh government threw out the Vyas Parivar from their own cellar. Did the religious character of the place not change then? Because the Hindus for it changed, nothing can be happened then. Number four, further violations of Place of Worship Act were committed against Hindus again. The chopping of the sacred people tree, the removal of the Ganesh idol, the removal of the Hanuman idol, the removal of many shivlings from that enclosed atmosphere. But it is the Hindus who have been taught that they are violating the Place of Worship Act by changing the religious character of mosque. Anand, nations weaken not because of their past, but rather by how they are taught it. For 70 years, we've been taught to forget historical injustices, from Somnath to Kashi Vishwanath, Babarpur to Bakhtiyarpur, Allahabad to Aurangabad, from Martan to Mathura. These injustices have deliberately been made visible as though to lionize the debasement, celebrate the humiliation. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Mazhar Sharif, thank you for your patience, and then I'll come to Ishkaran Bhandari. I'll not interrupt you, Mazhar Sharif. Your point, please. The court has made a very strong observation. Does this clear the decks for the ASI report to be made public in the interest of both the Muslim side and the Hindu side? Because scientifically it will be determined what the actual religious character of that place is.
Hi Anand. See, first of all, let me come in this way. The Place of Worship Act was made it in 1947. Then laterly it was altered in 1991. So now when there is an act, so why the act was provided by the Parliament? There was a need, because when the partition happened, at that point of the time, everybody knew there are Hindus, there are Muslims, there are religious places across both the side. So not to disturb the communal harmony, so this act was brought in. Now today if you're standing and you're proudly saying that it was scientifically it has to prove, there are a lot of things, you dig it anywhere, you get any stone there today. Not only Gyanvapi, any part of the world, any part of the India today, because India has a 5,000 year history. There was a lot of idols. So tomorrow you come to my home and you will say that you have some idol here and we have to construct a temple here. So should I leave my place?
Yes.
See, keep it very simple. Let us keep it simple. Let us keep it simple. The act of the Worship Act was there. Place of Worship Act is there. Why it was been made? Why it was been made? Just because not to have this kind of a situations. Now the situation where the High Court should have not been allowed this. First of all, we reject this. Means I wholly reject this, because see, once we have got a pain. Where on the sentimental basis, what happened in Ayodhya? Ayodhya, you didn't got anything. Survey was done there also. Even the judgment is there. In judgment, is there anything scientifically has been proved? Then if you are scientifically, if you want to prove Gyanvapi, then go back to Ayodhya also. And try and get that scientific research on there also.
But
get ISS certificate there also.
Yes,
then you have to justify. If you're talking about justice, that two places should not be there. Two places of worship it is not be there. It has happened hundreds of years back. So nothing. Now the country is that time what ruler was there, what he did. I don't want to get into the history now. So the basic thing is today the country is a secular country.
Why not?
Our constitution is talk about secularism. And this place is a masjid today, and it has been there from hundreds of years. It is not just, it has been built after 47 or after 91. So it has to be, it has to be why the Parliament has passed this, why the present government was sitting idle from last 9 years. They should have been brought in, they should have brought something parliamentarily. No, now somebody has put a case, somebody is putting in, you guys are saying proudly now that somebody has fighted for 40 years just because, and somebody is saying that, we are washing our dirty feet. What does that mean, as?
No,
what,
okay.
You think
now,
that our feet are dirty?
Let me ask you. No, it's not communalizing.
Please.
No, my simple. No, 1 minute, Anandji. Ishkaran also wants to respond, so let him also respond. My simple question to you, sir, is: Wuzu means that you have to clean your hand and feet, and you have to do an act of cleansing.
It's not dirty.
No.
It's not dirty.
1 minute.
It's not about dirty.
Before you go in to do your prayer. But if people are doing their act of cleansing themselves, that is washing their hand and feet, whether dirty or not, at a place where historically there is a shivling there kept, which is the seat or which is a matter of astha for millions of their own brethren of their own country, brothers and sisters of their own country. What kind of a mind? 1 minute. 1 minute. No, 1 minute. 1 minute, Mazhaji. I am asking you, what does that reflect in the thought process, mindset and attitude of those people who believe that there may be a shivling there, it may be a matter of astha for our own Hindu brothers and sisters of our own country, but we don't care because we will continue to wash our hand and feet there. What kind of a mindset does that represent or reflect, sir? Is that a secular, inclusive mindset, or is that a thought continuum of the very same Aurangzeb who destroyed that temple and built a masjid there? I leave you to chew on that question for a bit. Let Ishkaran Bhandari respond. Ishkaran Bhandari, you wanted to respond to Mazhar some other points. Yeah.
Anand, it was painful and required an act of discipline to keep quiet while so many erroneous statements were being made, either because of ignorance of law or because of deliberate attempt to do so. I didn't interrupt, so please don't interrupt me now when I start exposing one by one the statements which were absolutely false which were made. Firstly, on principle, if you dig all over India and you will find more murtis, then it is a perfect case why 500 or 700 more cases need to be found, because every mandir destroyed needs to be restored. Once a mandir, always a mandir. The volume or the number of cases will not determine that a perpetrator of violence can succeed on his violence, can erase or try to erase a civilization by saying you cannot dig 50 or 500 places. Each and every instance of injustice has to be corrected. That is the law in any democracy. That is the law in any civilization, period. Now let me come to the facts. Very conveniently, it's been said that Places of Worship Act was made for a purpose to stop this, basically to stop Hindus from going to court and claiming their right, even if they have evidence, even if they have documents. So firstly, if while Congress was in power, you were such poor draftsmen that you could, with all your intent to prevent Hindus from going to court, draft a shoddy piece of legislation which the High Court says did not cover this situation, then do not believe the lawyer. And all respects to Mr. Jain, he's doing a tremendous job. Everybody owes him a debt of gratitude, who went to the court and the Allahabad High Court ruled that it does not cover it. Accept it. The second aspect, why is this happening in Uttar Pradesh? Bhaiya, it is not an order by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, it's a court order. So whether it is Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh is absolutely irrelevant. How does the government come into this? But as I said, so many errors, I can't keep counting them. The third aspect of it is that every mandir, once you are going to the court and you are fighting that an ASI survey not come out, the court has categorically ruled, not only in that case, but in any other case it's required, a further ASI survey can be ordered. And by today's order of High Court, implicitly and explicitly, it's clear that the ASI report has to be public, because it has to be used in other cases also, like any scientific report has to be used. And lastly, let me just say this, stop all these stalling tactics, because the court has also stalled it. I was in the Ram Mandir case when an attempt was made that the case not be heard till 2019. The reason was this, because if the government changes, then a government comes and says Bhagwan Ram was a myth. There is no historical proof. We have had those affidavits filed. So probably that is the reason they keep trying to stall, and they're still trying to stall it till 2024. But the court has been categorical. 25 years the stay order lasted. Now decide this in 6 months. They should come to terms with it and stop trying to create needless arguments or erroneous arguments.
Ji. Harishankar Jain ji, coming to you, sir, in just a bit. But Anand Ranganathan has been raising his hand. So yes, Anand, a minute to you.
Yeah. No, I've been raising it, and I thank Ishkaran, because like Ishkaran, it really required me being a believer in ahimsa, not to interrupt my good friend Mazhar Sharif. I hope he doesn't mind my saying so. He's been very genial at putting across his points that I vehemently disagree with on 3 or 4 things. Number one, please stop thinking this as a Hindu-Muslim issue. I know what Naipaul said. Please go and read. And this is the problem with conversions. You forget fighting for the justice of your ancestors. So Mr. Mazhar doesn't think of this as a civilizational cause at all. For him, civilization is something more eastward. Nonetheless, having said this, the issue is, if a mosque had been demolished by a Hindu king and he had built a temple over it, does Mr. Mazhar Sharif not feel that Muslims had a legitimate right to approach the court to get their mosque back? I challenge him to say no. Let the mosque remain a temple where people would go and worship, and Muslims will not be allowed to reclaim that mosque. He will not say that. But the holiest of places of Hindus have been taken over. The records of the emperor himself says that yes, I destroyed it. There are idols that have been taken away and put on the steps of Janara Mosque so that Muslims going into the mosque trod over those Hindu temples. Such is the humiliation. And our own Muslim brothers do not feel embarrassed and ashamed that this was done in this sacred land. This is the issue out here. That is why I believe, and I'm saying this very bluntly, Anand, with facts, that Muslims will not yield an inch. They will not. You remember when for Ganesh Chaturthi in Karnataka, the Hindus just asked for one day Waqf land to celebrate. The Muslims said refused it. So that is why the reason is we have to go to the courts, because ultimately everyone in India has to believe in the court verdict. So all this
So the rule of law
is complete nonsense. Rule of law has to prevail. If the Muslims agree or don't agree, as Mr. Mazar Sharif wrongly says.
So who's actually
that the
making it?
Ayodhya
Who's
judgment was
actually
not
making?
based on scientific evidence at all? Of course it was. The ASI report categorically
Yes.
states, and I said, make 10 points just 2 days ago in Rahul's show, Anand. 10 points. That underneath the Babri Mosque was a temple of Hindu origin. Now, if Mr. Sharif doesn't want to believe what ASI said, Supreme Court said, so that's why I'm saying it is not up to the Muslims to believe or not believe Hindus. Hindus have to have a legitimate reason to go to the court, and they must be allowed to.
Mazar Sharif, quick response. Mazar Sharif, quick response.
Anand, 10 seconds, please.
So I would like to answer Mr. Ranganathan. Sir, let me tell you one thing about two things what he said about, if any masjid has been demolished and there is a temple is built, if my answer would be yes or no. See, if I have to believe on the law of the land today, the law of the land and the parliament, which is we all believe on it, okay. So once it has been decided under the act of worship, place of worship act. So once it is decided, I cannot do anything. So my sentiment is there.
So,
whether it is Gyanvapi Masjid or it is
Correct,
Waterlogging.
correct, but
Let me tell you.
Yeah, let him complete.
Let me complete. If it is happen, of course, definitely, I can say this. We will also stand for that, and we will say that it is happened now. Now you cannot change it. You have to believe on your constitution. You have to believe on your law of your land. And coming to second point. Second point. Let me tell you. He quoted Karnataka issue. If it was any other religious act, because in Muslim we don't believe in idol worship. So it is just because of that. Other than any other program of religious program would have been happened there, they would have been allowed.
No, but
now it is just you are taking only one thing. If you are talking today, what it has been sent. Let me just give me 1 minute, please, Mr. Anand. Just give me 1 minute. Now he is talking about Aurangzeb, what he has attacked on the temples. Doesn't matter to me now, because today, if somebody is attacking, I can stand for that. If anybody attacking in a temple, I'll the first person to stand. Now similarly, Marathas used to be in Karnataka. Marathas used to come and attack temples, because those days the culture is people used to keep treasure in the temples.
No,
So
no,
that
it is. Sir, I'll tell you.
If it is done,
Sir, here is the
also,
difference.
if it done is
No,
also, we are as a
Mazar Sharif, I think a lot of us will disagree with the argument that you are making, sir, because one, at that time the fight was for temple.
Maybe, sir,
one minute. Hear me, sir. At that time, it was not the supremacy or a fight of establishing the supremacy of one religious belief over another. It was about temple wealth, and never was the deity desecrated or never was the deity disturbed. Yes, there was loot and plundering of the temples, which was wrong, and I think there was apology also. No, 1 minute, sir. Here in this case, please, sir. If you have gone there to Gyanvapi, sir, you will see that the plinth itself, even at Krishna Janmabhoomi, the core plinth is of the mandir. It's the same extending wall on which the structure of the mosque has been built. And for 70 years, generations have come there and decided to pray, even though knowing fully well that even the Quran does not permit it, sir. Your religious scripture does not permit you to go and offer prayer at a place which has been built over another religious character or another religious building. That's the tenets. Those tenets have been, and I am quoting the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court in the Ram Janmabhoomi case, where they said that the structure itself and prayer itself is un-Islamic because Islam does not allow it. And the judges came to this conclusion after consulting Muslim scholars and also also the text. So please, I am stating facts here, and this is the reason why I asked you, sir, what is the mindset of those people who are not willing to give and respect the astha of their own country, fellow country brothers and sisters, Hindu brothers and sisters. What mindset does that represent? Is this not a continuum of the same thought that says that my faith above yours, and I will continue to sit on those places that are dear to you because I'll continue to hold on to you? This is the question many people are asking. I'm just going to quickly extend the same debate, but just change this dynamic a little more and add another aspect to it. Please, I'll come back to all of you. Harishankar Jain ji, if you have the time, I'd request you to also stay on with us. Thank you for your patience, sir. My question also is that in this case, and we'll just go back to our guest straight away. We just put out the question. The question is, this PoW Act, Places of Worship Act, or the act that has kept Hindu astha in prison or chained, is this act itself bad in law, or is this act maintainable? This is another dynamic that we would like to add. Harishankar Jain ji, where do you stand on this? Although right now the Allahabad High Court has ruled that the Gyanvapi Parisar and the Gyanvapi case does not fall under the ambit of PoW Act 1991. My question to you, Harishankar Jain ji, is this Places of Worship Act 1991 itself bad in law?
Sir, I have filed already a petition challenging the constitutional validity of PoW Act in the Honorable Supreme Court. Notices have been issued, but no reply has been filed by the central government, and it will be heard very shortly. And we have challenged on this ground alone that you can't restrict our right to go to the court. Right to file the suit or approach the court is the fundamental right. You can't suppress that right, and that is before the Supreme Court. Number two, the question is, I put a question, whether historical wrong is something different, injustice, inhuman action, barbarian act, most uncouth actions can be validated by Parliament. How this democracy, how this rule of law, what is the meaning of justice, what is transformative constitution? Matlab, injustice, extreme side, when you show this much, it is not only historical wrong. This is very soft word. Actually, it is injustice, persecution of Hindus. And after independence, we can't permit persecution to go on. We can't see the temple, which was temple, you go on offering namaz there, you utilize it, mosque, and world nationwide agitation will take place, though in legal form. I am not like you, that is CA, that was also passed by Parliament. Mr. Masrif, Parliament passed CA, Mr. Sharif, Parliament also passed CA. Then you said no, Shaheen Bagh road was blocked all over the country. In Kisan agitation, you never cared for Parliament. Now you are teaching a lesson to accept this act. No, the government, not court, the government will have to repeal it, and only the person or the party who favors the repeal of this act will get vote in 2024.
Sir,
this is our commitment.
Sir, the
this is our right.
The other thing is,
Yes.
sir, the Parliament has kept Jammu and Kashmir out of this act. How is that possible? How can Jammu and Kashmir be kept outside this
It is
act?
not possible.
And there are so many.
Sir, because temples were demolished after 1991. That is the discrimination. Because temples were demolished. And it is only to validate the illegal act, immoral act, barbarian act.
Not even a single, you are wrong.
Therefore,
No,
in the constitutional democracy.
But now, sir, the Places of Worship Act, Ahmad Ayaz Sahab, is automatically bad in law because Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. The Supreme Court itself has upheld the abrogation of Article 370, said that it was temporary and transitional, and that the sovereignty of Bharat is supreme. Now, in that case, the Places of Worship Act 1991 should automatically apply to Jammu and Kashmir. So, all those institutions and places which had the original religious character as of 15th of August 1947 should be restored.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They will never agree on that.
You see,
Ahmed Ayaz
this act is applicable to the whole of the India, and there were.
So no, sir. The Act says it is not applicable to the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Wait a bit now.
Ji.
It was not applicable to the Jammu and Kashmir. It is not only a religious policy act. There are many acts which were not applicable to the Jammu and Kashmir, whatever passed by the Parliament, unless ratified by its own legislative assembly. So Jammu and Kashmir had been a special state, had a special status. That possibly could be one reason that applicability was not there of all such acts.
So you agree it should be applicable now?
You see, we are talking today. No, we are talking, making claims what has happened 100 years back. But you have to understand that we have moved ahead. We have sought.
So exactly, I am asking you, Ahmed Ayaz
And
sir. I am asking you what happened in the last 75 years. Are you saying that Jammu and Kashmir should be added to the Places of Worship Act?
We are
1991?
claiming that it has happened possibly during the Muslim rulers in the India. So point is that when we have sought independence and there we have made our own way. We have made our own living. We have made our own constitution. We have made our own acts. We have seen what is best for us.
Correct.
What we have seen is best for us.
So we made it, right? So we made and we also amended it. So we also amended it as per time and as per evolution, as per change of scenario. The amendments happened. So now, do you agree that the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the Union Territory of Ladakh should also be included under the Places of Worship Act 1991?
If you say,
and that all those characters, what it was as of 15th August 1947, should be restored both in Ladakh and in Jammu and Kashmir.
I am on the main point. If you say today that the act passed in the Religious Place Act passed long back does not suit us today, and don't you think that tomorrow it will not end?
The other aspect is, Mr. Ahmed Ayaz, the moment you say the word worship, it is against Islam. In Islam, there is no worship. There is only prayer. The act itself describes everything that is offered in masjids, churches, gurudwaras and temples. But in gurudwaras and in temples and in masjids and in churches, it's only prayer. There is no worship. Worship is unique to the Hindu way.
It is not a matter of word now. It is we mean the worship. We mean prayers altogether.
No, sir. Worship and prayer are two different things. Just now, Mazhar Sharif said that we didn't allow Ganesh Chaturthi because we don't believe in idol worship. So, if you don't believe in idol worship, you have to worship something. You only believe in prayer. So again, there is a problem there in the act.
It implies that the act.
The third thing, sir, is what is religious character?
Place of worship.
The word religious character has not been defined. Allahabad High Court also says religious character has not been defined. What is religious character? Who defines and how is religious character defined?
Everywhere. You see,
Anand Ranganathan.
It covers all. It does not mean only a temple or a mosque or a particular. It covers all everything.
So my point is Dr. Ranganathan.
Questions on this act. How can
it stop? Anand, first of all, Mr. Ayaz, I didn't interrupt you.
Again, after 100 years or 50 years.
No, not after. Sir, acts have to change. 104 amendments have been made to the constitution. The words secular and socialist were added during the time democracy was in jail, during the time of emergency into our preamble itself. So, a lot of things changed. So, why can't this act change? As per the change of times. Why can't it evolve and why can't it be amended?
Then again is left the country, but as on date it has seen for last 300.
So as on date, Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of Bharat. It has been done so legally. It has been upheld by the Supreme Court. It's a union territory. So then Places of Worship Act 1991 should apply to Jammu and Kashmir and to Ladakh, and all the religious character and all the institutions as on 15th of August 1947 should be restored. You should say it as a Kashmiri yourself.
Tell me after Muslim rulers, then Britishers also were there, then we are here in 76th year of independence. And when all these this could continue till date, why it is receiving momentum today? That's a big issue.
No, why shouldn't it, sir? Why shouldn't it, sir? Did you ask the same question, sir, when Erdogan? Sir, did you ask the same question when Erdogan changed the nature of the Hagia Sophia? Did after Kemal Ataturk,
No,
when
we have been
Erdogan
passing-
changed the nature of Hagia Sophia, did you say what Erdogan has done is
not
wrong?
Indian.
When we have been
No,
continuing
no,
for
take a
last more
position.
than
Please,
300
sir, please
till
let me
all
ask
this,
you.
why can't we
Say
continue?
that
No.
what Erdogan has done is wrong. That Hagia Sophia's character should have been secular. Hagia Sophia should have been a
See,
should have
first
been a
of all,
mosque.
let me
Should have
tell
been a
you,
should have been a
Erdogan
museum
is
and
not
not a
an Indian.
mosque.
I as an Indian
I was
citizen,
supposed to-
I can
Okay,
talk only
Dr.
about my
Anand
country.
Ranganathan.
Whoever are
Sir,
doing in
I'll
their-
tell you,
what they are doing in that
you are
country,
not. No,
their
no.
country people
This is
have
the
to
reason why you are not
ask
able
for
to
that.
take a clear position, sir.
Anand,
This is the reason why
No,
you are not,
no,
because
I am not
you are
asking-
looking
I
at
am not
only
asking.
those
Why should I
aspects
ask?
which work. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Anand. First
Of
of
course,
all,
even
I
you are
think you
taking
need
a
a live. No, Mr. Mazhar, please, it's my turn. I've been waiting very patiently.
After that, Mr. Sharif,
Anand-
I'll come to you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anand, couple of points. I think you need live fact checkers there, because as soon as Mr. Hari Jain said rightly that even after the promulgation of the Places of Worship Act in 1991, hundreds of temples in Jammu and Kashmir have been demolished and destroyed. Mr. Ayaz was shaking his head vehemently and saying no. On the floor of the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly in
I still
2012, the
I still
government
say-
admitted.
I still say no.
Sir, please, sir, do not interrupt. Do not. This is bad manners. I did not interrupt you. Please, we are having a wonderful discussion. Can't we all be congenial and polite? Thank you. I am giving you proof that Jammu and Kashmir government on the floor of the assembly admitted that 208 temples were damaged and destroyed in Kashmir in the last 2 decades. So this is the proof, and Mr. Hari Jain was absolutely right. Now, let me also, Anand, congratulate you for bringing in a huge breath of fresh air in the form of Mr. Mazhar Sharif, who is from AIMIM. I am blown away by his congeniality and politeness, and I thank you for it. Normally, we associate AIMIM with 15 minutes of police being removed. So, Mazharji, you've been absolutely wonderful. But I want to ask you a question. You know, you said that we must maintain Place of Worship Act because it has been constitutionally upheld and elected by the Parliament. In the same breath of forthrightness and honesty, I want to ask you, do you believe that 370 was right to be abrogated by this government, that CAA was right to be enacted by this government? Simple yes or no would suffice.
No.
No.
Okay.
No,
So
it
you don't believe that,
No.
but something that favors you,
If
you believe.
if you ask me in one single
please,
statement, I would say no. If you
Madhaji,
allow me
Madhaji,
to
that's
elaborate,
why
I can.
That's why I said. That's
Yes,
why I said you
please.
are having double
Please go
standards.
ahead, go
There's
ahead, go
nothing wrong with double standards. There's nothing wrong in it. As long as you are exposed and
the
you
same thing
admit.
goes
No, I don't have
Now,
double standards.
point
The
number
complete-
three.
complete
Point
I'll
debate
give
number
you a
on
chance
that.
to respond, sir. I'll give you a chance to rebut him.
Even if after the Supreme Court had adjudicated on Shah Bano that the poor old withering widow should be given 25 rupees in alimony, the Muslims were up in arms and they forced the government to overturn the Supreme Court judgment. I want to ask the AIMIM leader, Mr. Mazhar, was he for the overturning of the Supreme Court judgment? Yes or no? Because his party is on record saying that yes, it was good that Rajiv Gandhi overturned the Supreme Court judgment. I want to ask him, sir, were you for the overturning or were you against the overturning of the Supreme Court judgment?
Mr. Sharif? Mr. Sharif, can you hear me? Could you hear Anand there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you please
Should I respond
repeat
to the
again?
Gyanvapi
Yeah,
issue?
Anand Ranganathan asked you, were you for the Muslim Paksh forcing the government to overturn the judgment of the Supreme Court in the Shah Bano case?
Yes, of course.
Yes, so he was.
Now
Anand.
the hypocrisy has been exposed twice over. I leave the rest to my great friend Ishkaran Bhandari.
Okay.
See, hypocrisy.
Doctor-
if you-
Anand, if I-
Ishkaran, we'll
Yes,
extend
I
by a
will-
minute.
I'm getting very less time.
Allow Mazhar Sharif to respond and then I'll come to you, Ishkaran. Please, patience. Thank you.
See, first question was from Mr. Ranganathan, what he talk about, I guess he was talking about Kashmir, I guess, about Article 370 and removing that was a right or wrong. First of all, you tell me, even since this Article 370 was removed, what was the benefit given to the people of Kashmir? Are you provided them what they required? You're just
Yes.
in the namesake have
Absolutely,
the Kashmiri have got the
Dalit-
rights. First of
The
all, let
Dalits
me tell
have
you.
got their
See,
rights.
there was certain,
You know about
certain.
Radhika Gill,
See,
you
see,
know
I'll
about
tell you.
the
I'm
Burma,
coming.
the
Please,
Sikh,
please, please.
the
You can.
women.
Later, you can
Their
also
rights
laugh
were
on that.
trampled
If
upon
you
for
have enough
70
time to.
years,
After the
Balarji.
program, also
Did
you
you know
can.
that they could
But
not get
allow
a job
me.
except
See,
being
we
a
normally
Sikh?
take 15 minutes.
I just have
so
to.
I'm not getting that 15 minutes actually, Mr. Rangnathan. We normally get that 15 minutes. I'm not getting it.
You are such a breath of fresh air. You please take my time.
I'm not getting that 15 minutes. See, absolutely, absolutely. I can. So now the question what is coming is today what we are discussing on the place of worship. On the similar thing, what you are asking for the Kashmir thing, it was under a special, it was a special state. If government is deciding something, it has to be discussed on Parliament. Then the calls can be taken. Now today we are talking about Gyanvapi and the act of worship place today. We are talking about the act. And if you are talking on that, today what I am discussing, what I am debating today is absolutely correct.
Okay.
My questions are rightfully I'm
what
putting
is
my
being
questions.
questioned? Okay, sorry, I'm pressed
may I
for time.
respond?
I'm just
May I
pressed. No,
respond to Mr.
sorry, I'm
Anand,
pressed for time.
Mr.
I'm really
Ranganathan
pressed for
Anand?
time. I just need to give 30 seconds or 45 seconds to Ishkaran Bhandari. I'm pressed for time, sir. It's 47 on the clock. I'm on price. I'm on price.
No, give me 10 seconds.
Yes,
Mr. Anand.
yes, Ishkaran Bhandari. 45 seconds of yours, sir.
Anand, Dr. Ranganathan just performed surgery without anesthesia. I feel for Mr. Mazhar. It was painful to watch. But let me come to the fact now. On first principles, the very rule of law, the very constitution,
sir.
the very
I'm used
basic
to.
structure is based on a person's access to justice. Places of Worship Act attempted to take away this access to justice from Hindus, but Congress, like when it asks for donation but does not register a domain name, probably drafted it so poorly that the Allahabad High Court is saying that what your aim and your intent was has not happened because we will determine what was the character, you did not define it properly. So they cannot, their aim and purpose was to appease the vote bank, but unfortunately incompetence has its own suffering and they could not do it because of the manner they drafted this act in.
Right. Gentlemen, I'm really over time. Ahmadaya Saab, 15 seconds I'll give you, sir. 15 seconds. At the cost of going over on my show.
Okay. Now that Mr. Ranganathan was talking about various temples have been demolished in Kashmir, at the face of it, I will say no. Well, there are no non-Muslims to maintain those temples. Maybe that a reason. And tell me a single temple where it has been demolished or a mosque must have been built.
Sir,
Even if the act
sir,
does not apply
sir,
there, but
sir,
still,
sir,
there is
sir.
nothing like that.
Non-Muslims
There is
ko bhi
nothing
choda
like
nahi
that.
Wow, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. There are a lot of
There's
Kashmiris who are watching.
absolutely
There are a
not
lot
even
of
a single
Kashmiris who are
temple
watching this
must have been
broadcast.
demolished
There will be a
and
lot of
mosque
Kashmiris who will
constructed.
take you to the
That's
nooks and
absolutely
corners of
correct.
Jammu and
And
Kashmir
he
and show
can
you what has
quote
been
me
done in
any
the
example of that.
last 70 years post-independence, especially in the last 30 years. You yourself are privy to it. Maybe off air you will say something else what you're saying on air. But we will go and see it, sir. Pratyaksh ko praman kya? And I'm saying, if you agree that Places of Worship Act 1991 is correct, then Jammu and Kashmir should be applied because things have changed and those temples and those places of original religious character as of 15th August 1947, although that date is also challenged, should be restored in Jammu and Kashmir and also in Ladakh, sir. Thank you very, very much, gentlemen. Very engaging conversation. Look forward to many more such conversations. We're looking forward to what happens in court on the 21st. Harishankar Jainji, special thanks to you and Vishnu Jain as we take a very, very short break. Stay with us. Get you the update on the Tamil Nadu rains when we come back.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Vannarpet Junction in Tirunelveli. This is one of the major junctions here. We can see the situation. This after water levels have receded for some time. Now this is a boat which was brought in here to rescue people from this area when they were stuck inside to bring in. Now that is being taken back because the water levels have receded to some point, but still it is waist deep. People are finding it difficult to cross from this side to the other. There are houses on the other side. They say that all areas have been blocked. So many of them are forced to walk through this water in knee-deep length from here to cross to one side to the other. Yesterday in this entire stretch, they couldn't even walk like this. That was the situation. Today the water levels have started receding.
Movement that inspires.
Good evening, this is Brass Taxam Zakir Jacob. 141 members of parliament have been suspended so far for the remainder of the winter session. This number is the highest in the history of independent India since parliament began functioning more than 75 years ago. The opposition MPs staged a protest outside parliament. The ruckus continued inside both houses. In fact, one of the contentions by the Treasury benches, by the government, is that the opposition was making a mockery of the democratic process. They were making a mockery of the custodians of the house. One of them, Mr. Banerjee, Kalyan Banerjee from the TMC, was seen mocking the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the vice president, Jagdeep Dhankar. The BJP has gone to town saying that this is not just insulting the second most powerful constitutional office in the land, but also something that would be unacceptable to a majority of Jats, which is the denomination that Mr. Dhankar hails from. So then the question is, who is making a mockery of Parliament? But first, the story so far.
देश के इतिहास में पहली बार है